have the powers
Senator
to compel,
take your seat.
For example, the PS. Sorry.
Proceed, Abdi.
Thank you,
Mr. Abdi.
So we do not have the powers to compel the chairperson of. We don't have the compellence powers as far as administrative action is concerned. So I want to leave that for the honorable members to decide what to do with that. So I move on. Then the issue of reading of the donor community and what our view is. You know, if you may allow me, Honorable Speaker and the members, the medical, the health sector has faced serious challenges of corruption throughout this period. They have to do a recommendation throughout the period that I remember or to the EACC, working at the EACC to investigate the criminality. It is an area where of that a lot of donors are actually almost giving up in supporting our programs. And that has a serious repercussion. Because first, let's understand.
Mheshimiwa Speaker, in the past, with tremendous respect, with all the other witnesses, you have been indicating how much time they have to respond. 5 minutes, 10 minutes, and my good friend here, the witness, you did not indicate how much time this honorable House is giving him to respond.
Thank you so much, Senior Counsel. That was courtesy of my good friend, Senator Seki. Now, witness, ordinarily we've been given 10 minutes to respond to clarifications sought and questions. So far, you have done 4 minutes and 13 seconds. Okay. You have 5 minutes and 47 seconds to conclude.
Okay. Thank you, Honorable Speaker. So that one I've dealt with. So the issue was that was also raised is which report do we stand by? As EACC, we did an investigation and we submitted our report, the findings of the report to this committee, to this Honorable House, and that is the report we will always stand by and defend. The other issue that was raised was whether we had any case that we have investigated against the DPP and whether we have proposed charges or anything like that. That is, we have not investigated the Deputy President, His Excellency Rigathi Gachagua. We have not investigated him for any criminal matter in the past. That is our position. Now, there was also the National Assembly hearing. Why we did not attend the National Assembly hearing and now we are attending the Senate. We were not invited to the first hearing. Yesterday, I was served with a summons of this House, and we are simply responding to that summons. As to why we were not invited in the other one, that I don't know, and we only respond to the summons that were issued. So then, Senator Omugeni, the companies associated with the DP, we've not investigated any company that is associated with the Deputy President so far, and that is our position. Then, Honorable Senator for Kakamega County, activities that are intricate web of suspected to be corruption. On all the items, Honorable Senator, that you have told us whether we have investigated, I think there are 5. We have not, because a report has not been made to us, and it is we should not only wait for a report. We also have the powers to investigate on our own motion, but it is only after we analyze the reports as to whether they fit in within our mandate. Like, for example, if you deal with issues of inheritance, unless there's a criminal aspect on the inheritance bit, inheritance usually will be handled as a civil matter. And issues to do with intimidation, if the CEO of KEMSA had reported to us that he was actually intimidated by a state officer, we would go into it. Of course, you understand, all of us understand, how difficult it would be to open an investigation of that, that magnitude. But no complaint has been made to us. On the Gen Z uprising, also, we have no report. We know it happened, but as to the corruption bit of it, we do not have facts.
2 minutes to go.
Okay, thank you. So, gifts, I think I mentioned, I talked about it. I talked about them very clearly. Issues to do with whether we want to charge, we want to press charges against companies associated with the DP. Do with whether we have not investigated. We can only press charges, recommend charges after investigation to the Director of Public Prosecution. That is our mandate. We can only press charges, recommend charges after. The other one, of course, is intimidation by the Public Prosecution. That is our mandate. We can only press charges after. I think I have addressed that one. Then finally, I think I have addressed whether we want to prefer more charges or more sanctions against the persons involved, and on this matter, especially on criminal culpability. The issue of criminal culpability is still on this matter, especially, and the issue of criminal culpability is still on this matter. We will be inviting some people, probably in the near future. But as of now, we dealt with the issues of administrative action against the individuals. Thank you, Honorable Speaker. If I may have not addressed one or two questions,
Very well. Now we move to the second round.
Speaker, if I may have not addressed one or two questions,
Very well. Now we move to the second round.
Speaker, if I may have not addressed
Senator Mtatu. Very well. Now we move to the second
Honorable
round.
Speaker, was there any clarification for us to respond to some questions that have been put to us? Honorable Speaker, was there any clarification for us to respond to some questions that have been put to us? Sugar is running a bit low. There are many questions.
It's running low to everybody.
Sugar is running a bit low.
Mr. Speaker, sir,
It's running low to everybody.
to the witness from the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission, I would like to ask from the Ethics and Anti-Corruption whether the Kenya Kwanza Coalition document is unconstitutional and therefore null and void to the extent that its formula for sharing executive power violates Article 10 3. Officially and privately. So is there a situation whereby I can be given a gift of whatever magnitude that I don't have to declare? Thank you.
Senator Chute.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, let me first of all thank Bwana Abdi for many years' service he has given to this country, and we highly respect him. I want to refer Abdi to ground number 11 and also to his documents, page 7. Ground number 11 says, His Excellency Rigathi Gachagua bullied Kenya Medical Supplies Agency officials into awarding a tender for supply of mosquito nets to Crystal Limited. and in your letter on page 7. The Commission, let me read. The Commission is of the opinion that the conduct of the CEO, Terry Ramadhani, amounts to violations of leadership and integrity Act, particularly Section 10 and 11. Mr. Abdi, today, as we speak, Terry Ramadhani is a deputy ambassador in India. And Mr. Mutuse, Honorable Mutuse, wants this House to get rid of the deputy president on the account of bullying somebody. Can you tell Kenyans, 50 million Kenyans today, as you stand there, do you want this House to impeach the president if you have already recommended some culprits to be given administrative, what do you call, action, and then you want us to impeach the president?
Senator Kamau. Githuku.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I want to ask a question to the Deputy Chief Executive Officer. In the course of your investigation, is there anywhere that you have identified that the Deputy President of the Republic of Kenya, who you want impeached, influenced any tender award? Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
And the senator was elected by the people of Kajiado, Senator Sek.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. My question goes to, or clarification goes to Abdi Mohammed. Mohammed, we have realized that there is a report from the ACC and a report from the Committee of Health of the Senate in regards to the, this issue of mosquito nets. I want to confirm that the contract was cancelled and the funds were not lost. I want you to demonstrate the role of this agent by the name Crystal Kenya Limited in relations to the Deputy President's office and more so Rigathi Gachagua. Thank you very much.
Senator Miraj. Okay, if you don't have any question, then log out. You may now proceed, and thereafter we'll have an opportunity for the counsel for the Deputy President to respond to the clarification sought.
Thank
5
you.
minutes.
Thank
Abdi,
you,
you have 5 minutes.
Honorable Speaker. In fact, I'll take less than 5 minutes. Senator Omutata, I think he raised the issue of whether the agreement of the Kenya Kwanza document or Kenya Kwanza government document is unconstitutional. I think that one is only the courts that can actually find whether that document is unconstitutional or not. It's not within my ability or powers, or rather to comment about the constitutionality or otherwise, and whether the document is null and void, and whether it contravenes certain articles of the Constitution. The second one was who is to blame for drawing unconstitutional agreements or documents. I think that is also something that can be tried in court, in my view. If anybody suspects whether this document is constitutional or not, I think the best thing to do is to try it in our courts, and they will, of course, give directions on what can be done. Now, the other one was whether we have investigated any criminal conduct against the DP. I think I had indicated clearly that we have not investigated the Deputy President for any criminal culpability or any criminal case as far as EACC is concerned. Senator Chute, thank you very much for the compliment. I appreciate. Now, the issue of bullying of KEMSA officers or staff, I think that came from the CEO himself, and he gave evidence in this House that will be considered by the House, whether it is something that can stand the test or not. As for Terry Ramadan, we did our bit in terms of recommending this lady to be disciplinary action be taken against her for her role in this particular procurement. But because I indicated we don't have the compellence powers to enforce disciplinary or administrative action, I leave it at that. And whether our recommendation is for the impeachment of the DP, ours was to respond to the summons that was given to us by this Honorable House. It is for the House to do, that is their job. I wouldn't want to go there. We never recommended, I don't want to go there. Then whether there was anywhere where the DP influenced any tender, no, we do not have that, and we never submitted that. All that we said is what I'm going to say in the next response, which was raised by the Honorable Senator for Kajiado County about the role of Crystal Kenya Limited and the connection between that company and the Honorable response, which was Deputy President of the Republic of Kenya for Kajiado County. From the documents that we have and which we supplied, it is clear that this company and the directors are two sons of the Deputy President. Each one of them owns 200 shares. From the documents, they are the only directors of that particular company. It is clear that this company, and that is the nexus between the Deputy President, the Honorable Rigathi Gachagua, and that particular company. And from the documents, they are the only that is our response as of now. So, and that is the Honorable Speaker. Thank you very much. The President, the Honorable Rigathi Gachagua, and that particular
Council for the Deputy President will give you 10 minutes. So, starting now.
Honorable Speaker, thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. I will share my minutes with my colleague and Jiro. My questions are limited to the issue of the shareholder agreements. I'll be quick. The questions were asked by my landed senior and colleagues and friends, Professor Jenda, Captain Muma, my colleague, and Senator Omtata. I'll begin with the questions by my landed senior, Mr. Jenda, and I'll begin with the second question he asked. He asked, is the relationship between the President, the Deputy President, and irretrievably broken? That's not a legal question, but in my experience as a Kenyan, my landed senior, there is no such thing as an irretrievably broken political relationship between members of Jubilee, party I served as an advocate for, woke up in March 2018 to find their leader shaking hands with his opponent in Harambee House and subsequently found their way to work. A few months ago, the President and the Honorable former Prime Minister have found a way to work. There's no such thing as an irretrievable political relationship. Secondly, leadership constitutionally is not so much about how you feel. It is about your duty and your responsibility constitutionally. Your feelings must take a back seat to your duty to the people of Kenya. Secondly, I was asked about the counties. Now, when you look at these shareholder agreements, and again, if members will go with me to page 418, where you find the shareholder agreement between ANC, Ford Kenya, and UDA. Sorry? Oh, volume, sorry. I don't know how to increase the volume.
Council, sorry, Council members, I'm getting a bit lost when you say UNDA. UNDA, if spelling in Swahili is UNDA.
No, UDA, sorry, I come from Mount Kenya.
United Democratic Alliance. If you use maybe the first, you first make clear
I'm sorry.
that it is United Democratic Alliance.
Yes, I'm sorry. We use acronyms, I'm sorry. It's the United Democratic Alliance Party. The full name of Amani is Amani National Congress Party, and the full name for Ford Kenya is Ford Kenya Party. So their agreement at page 429, you will note, Professor Ojenda, it does not talk about counties. The agreements seem to have been structured in regions. It talked about region. Now, I don't know what they meant by those regions, but what I can tell you is that at paragraph 20...
Also, I will allow Mr. Abdi to have a seat somewhere as you conclude.
Yes, as I said, Honorable Senator for Kisumu, at page 429, which would be paragraph 20, subparagraph O, that's the first proviso there was. Further terms, parameters, and details of the sharing of positions of responsibility in the national government pursuant to this article shall be contained in a separate schedule to this agreement, which schedule shall be negotiated and executed before the date of the general election scheduled on 9th August 2022. So this was not a final agreement. My understanding is that there were further schedules. I don't know what those schedules said. They are not available at the register of political parties. They may very well have included all the counties you asked for. Maybe Kisumu was in the subsequent schedule, I don't know. Secondly, the drafters of this, as I've said, were careful to stay within the confines of the Constitution, because at paragraph 22, subparagraph G, this is what they said. Notwithstanding the content of this article, the founding member parties hereby commit to make any adjustments that may be necessary to accommodate the development priorities of other parts of the country, to ensure equitable distribution of Kenya's national resources and wealth for the benefit of every citizen and every part of Kenya. So there was a proviso to ensure that the document was constitutional. And perhaps while I'm on that issue as well, I might as well answer my good friend on Senator Mtata's question. I am not yet mercifully a judge. I cannot say whether the Kenya Kwanza coalition is unconstitutional. Somebody will have to move the court for that determination to be made. But what I did say was that in 2005, I had the privilege in participating in a case involving the MOU for NAC. And that one was struck down because the law had no underpinning making room for it. And which brings me to the question raised by Senator Catherine Muma, which is the political parties section. There's actually not one, there's several. If you'd go to Schedule 3, sub-paragraph C, B, D, and E. Let me read them out for you. So B deals with the policies and objectives of the coalition. B deals with organizational structure and management of the coalition, including county structures and systems and county government bodies, which you'll also find in these agreements. And then C, the overall structure of the coalition. And then E, the criteria or formula for sharing of positions in the coalition. That's what it says. Positions in the coalition structure, roles and responsibilities within the coalition. So that's what it says. So most political coalitions have interpreted that to mean, and it's been healthy thus far. I think it's helped, in my view, this country become a bit more stable and united. And I think I've answered all those questions that had to do with the question of the shareholder agreements. Unless members had any clarification, I rest.
Thank you, Council, for DP. Council Ndegwa, You have something to pick, or do we conclude it at that?
Specific questions and clarifications. Noting at the mood of the House, perhaps I can indulge the House. I respond the same after lunchtime.
No. After lunch, we are going straight to your main witness.
Very well, Mr. Speaker, sir.
So what we can do, Council Ndegwa, allow me to invoke Standing Order 34.2A for the convenience of the House to add 5 minutes. So the House will rise at 1:05 instead of 1.
I am well guided by your wisdom.
Yeah, Mr. Speaker, sir, there were 2 questions for the National Assembly side to respond.
Okay,
2 questions.
Then let's do this. Let's do this. Instead of the House rising at 1:05, we will rise at 1:15. So, Council Ndegwa, you'll take your 5 minutes, and then the rest shall be given to the Council for the National Assembly.
I am well guided, Mr.
Speaker, sir, the witness is asking if he can leave the
Absolutely. He's discharged.
Thank you very kindly, Mr. Speaker, sir. I was asked to clarify by Senator Joyce Carrill why I am dealing with the report from the Senate and what am I driving at. The report to the Senate is intended to indicate that none of the participants in that tendering process ever benefited from that particular process. All the 17 companies, none of them benefited, and that as a result or as a consequence of the failure to proceed to the next levels, the country did not lose even a single cent. A question was put to me why I am looking at the submissions by various parties and not going to the observations and the recommendations by the Senate. And just like a skillful legal surgeon, I have been able to point out various findings, submissions. For example, the submissions finding themselves at page 222, paragraph 107 and 106, 107 and 109 find themselves at the recommendation, at the observation of the Senate at page 271. So there is serious correlation between my findings as submitted by various parties who appeared before the Senate and the observations made by the Senate. So I dealt largely on what the Senate found as opposed to what the Senate had during the proceedings. Number 2, Mr. Speaker, sir, clarification was sought as to why the bid failed, and although that will be dealt with at length, permit me to draw the attention of the Assembly to page 108 of the volume 3 of the Deputy President's Body of Documents. You'll find a letter from KEMSA dated the 5th May 2023, being a notification to Shobika Impex Private Limited. And it reads, the reference is made to the above tender and advised that the tender was unsuccessful due to the following reasons. 1, tender security was not paginated. Number 2, please plan to collect your bid